We are back again to build the ultimate and indestructible Machinedramon with the all-new Chaosdramon X Antibody. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be showcasing the brand new Chaosdramon X and Machinedramon Deck Profile. With Chaosdramon X being released, the deck has now potentially reached its final form where it is almost impossible to stop once you're able to build the perfect stack with it. The deck can scale very nicely into the late game, which can also then control the board super well, making it extremely difficult for any of your opponents to overcome. And as usual, I'll be showing you guys the new combos of how to play Chaosdramon X Antibody specifically right after the deck profile, so let's just jump right into it. As usual, beginning with our Digi-Egg cards, we play the 4 copies of the Dorimon, simply because you keep adding sources underneath your Digimon all the time with the Machinedramon as you're building the stack. And it's just very easy to combo with the effect, letting you to draw one once per turn, which is always really nice. And as you guys can see upcoming, the Dorimon and Dorumon package is really the way to go. So just jumping straight into our rookies, we definitely have the 4 copies of the Dorumon. This one, you never really hard play this. You're always going to be Digivolving. Just because you hard play it, you end up only searching for itself, which is not value at all. You always want to be Digivolving it, cycling a card, and really mainly you play it for its inheritable. Just like Dorimon, instead of drawing a card, this one gains you a memory instead, which gives you a lot of value, especially when you're just trying to build your stack and go for your combos really. Next, we got 4 copies of Hagurumon. This is also a very crucial rookie to the deck because it just helps you draw more, cycle more on play by trashing 1 Digimon card with Machine or Cyborg in this trace. You get to draw 2, finding pieces to build your stack, cycling for more Cyborgs and whatnot. He is super crucial, which is why I definitely prioritize this as a 4 of as well. And you definitely always be hard playing this guy no matter what, just because of its unique effect for the deck. Then for the level 4s, I like to run 3 copies of Chaosdramon. You guys can run 4 if you want, really just based on personal preference, because this is like your early game sort of blocker, Digivolving for 2, but we also play it for its inheritable, just so that when we're attacking, not once per turn as well, we get to trash 1 Digimon card with Machine or Cyborg in its trace to draw 2 cards. Again, very similar, just to cycle faster, more important as well. And keep in mind, this guy can't attack, so really, we're just really trying to build an inheritable with this guy there. If you guys are fans of both Dragons and Digimon, then be sure to check out our latest battle series with Dragonic Roar EX3. Sam and I will be teaming up once again to play against our friends with the Evil Virus Imperialdramon and 4 Great Dragons deck against Examon and Hydramon. Come find out which dragon is the strongest by watching the newest episode after this video, where links will be left in the description box down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like, as it really helps and I appreciate the support from all of you. And then for the other level 4, we play 3 copies of Numemon, really based on personal preference. You guys can actually even play Tankmon instead, whereas Tankmon, which we had the argument before, where Tankmon has more synergy because it just is more with the similar trait and archetype, because it does have Cyborg in its traits specifically. But I opted in for Numemon just for the argument's sake, is that if we ever do brick, we can hard play this guy and immediately Digivolve it into a level 5 right after the next turn and so we can sort of try to unbrick our hand. That's the main difference, whereas Tankmon does cost a lot more to sort of hard play. Otherwise, you're really just focusing on the Digivolving aspect of it. So really, again, just comes down on personal preference and what you really normally prefer. And that's basically it to sum up for our level 4s. We do have the 1 copy of the Mechanori right here. I just like this as my personal tech, just to go against any decks that have like early game chipping, and it's just really good to sort of like hard slam this for 4 costs, and it can just kind of sit there and, you know, stop your opponents from just chipping you away. This deck does focus more on the late game usually, and you don't want to be losing too much advantage because of that, and that's the only reason why I tech this in. However, if you guys don't like it, totally just add in another copy of like Tankmon or another copy of Numemon or Chaosdramon, whatever you personally prefer, to bump up consistency when it comes to that kind of play. That's it for all of our level 4s. Let's talk about our level 5s, which is going to be the biggest portion of this deck. Honestly, there's no new level 5s, but we just make some ratio changes to sort of like help this deck, which is kind of nice. And let's just start off with like the DP buff level 5s. I play 1 of each of the Metal Greymon from BT1, the Megadramon from BT6, and the Gigadramon from BT6 as well. All these cards are just really good. The only difference is that Gigadramon gains you DP during your opponent's turn, so you're a little bit more defensive. You have a really tall stack with a higher blocker DP, with all that kind of stuff, which is kind of nice. And then Megadramon and Metal Greymon just give you so much DP during your turn to make sure that I can swing over things, which is always going to be crucial. Moving on to more offensive side of things as well, you guys know how I love security +1 generally, and that's why we play the one copy of Megadramon from EX1 and also the one copy of Volcanomon. Volcanomon is kind of nice because itself is a blocker, and sometimes you might want to set up a blocker just like that, and it's 9k, which is always good. And then the Megadramon also has an on-play deleting 3000 DP or less. Comes up every now and then, rarely happens really, but it's just nice to have. But mainly, like I said, like I mentioned, we're really just playing these two cards mainly for its security +1 for the aggression. Next up, we also have Piercing. The Metal Greymon from EX1 gives you Piercing. It also has its own effect where when attacking, when it attacks a player, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. Can utilize it every now and then if you really want to. Not necessarily, but yeah, Piercing is just nice to have for sure. Another offensive, instead of just dealing more damage to security, I like to play Metal Tyrannomon. This one you don't really use as when digivolving or on play effect really, but you can sometimes. It can come in handy for clutch situations just to suspend something that your opponent has and prevent it from unsuspending. But again, with its inhurtable, it's all about trashing security. It's an all turns once per turn effect. So if you do block with your Machinedramon or Chaosdramon or whatnot and you survive the battle, you still get to trash your opponent's security with this effect, which is always really nice. And this is one of the cards I would actually argue to fit like a 2 copy of potentially, just because it's that good of an effect. However, right now the deck space is really tight, and it just really comes to your personal preference on how you want to juggle with the ratios, and it's kind of hard to find room to fit like 2 copies of certain level 5s and so on. But anyways, at least a one-off no matter what for sure. The other one that we have is Megadramon right here from BT9. This is just really good at getting rid of like low-cost Digimon and low-cost tamers that are 3 costs or less basically. There's a lot of them running around in the current meta, so again, I can find an argument of some of you guys wanting to bump this up to 2. Just to counter for those cards, especially cards like Ayamako, the Tai, all these guys have 3 costs basically, and it's just really good against those top 2 meta decks right now, which is probably why you might want to bump it up to 2. But again, just for standard purposes, 1 is usually good enough for the deck. Moving into the defensive side of things right here, we need blocker, right? So having blocker is basically really crucial, so then we can stop our opponents from attacking, and comboing with your tall stack sort of build is just really nice. So Andromon and Megadramon both give blocker. Andromon just has a little bit more better synergy, just because it has a when digivolving effect of letting you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, adding yourself 1 level 6 machine trait Digimon under them, among them to your hand, and then trashing the rest is just very nice to help you cycle for more pieces if you need to. And yeah, that's mainly it. But otherwise, yeah, these 2 are your blockers. And of course, in combination with blocker, you definitely need the reboot combination right here with Gigadramon and Metal Tyrannomon here. They both give you reboot. Same argument, Metal Tyrannomon has the exact same effect as Andromon, letting you cycle a bit more, search a little bit more, and trash some stuff as well. Whereas Gigadramon itself has jamming, and you can do early chips with this guy sometimes, which is kind of nice, but that's really it for the reboots. And then for more sort of like deletion type of stuff, we got Metal Mamemon right here, at least a 1-of, which is kind of nice because you can delete something of when attacking a opponent's Digimon with 5 costs or less. It's also not once per turn as well, so if you ever get to unsuspend and do it again, very, very nice for sure. And it definitely comes up, so you can pop lower cost stuff, a little bit more than the Megadramon from BT9, but still really, really good card for sure to have. And again, with its when digivolving effect, exactly the same as Andromon and Metal Tyrannomon from EX1 to cycle more. Last but not least, then, I would like to usually run the 2 copies of the Metal Greymon from BT8. This is the only one spot that I'm able to find room to fit in 2 copies of, because I would prioritize this one overall. Very arguable. There's a lot of really good cards that you can actually bump up to 2, but this is my main priority one, just because you're able to attack unsuspended stuff. It's just so good. Not only that, you can sometimes utilize its when digivolving to de-digivolve on your opponent's Digimon, and then pop something with 3000 DP or less is quite a lot of value, even if it's just 4 costs to digivolve, which is quite a lot, but it definitely gives you a lot of return. And this one being, again, like I mentioned, being able to attack unsuspended stuff, you can combo really nicely and basically ultimately control the board. No matter what your opponent puts out, you're always going to get rid of it no matter what, which is why this card is that good. That's it for all of our level 5s. Let's talk about our level 6s, and as per usual, we'll talk about our Machinedramon first. The BT11 one is still really good, a great addition from the last set when digivolving or on play, letting you reveal top 5 cards of your deck, adding yourself an Analogman among them, and adding one cyborg or machine to your hand, or you can place it underneath your sources and then you trash the rest. Great setup. You always want to be building your stack with this guy no matter what, and with the on deletion effect, letting you play a Machinedramon from your hand for free by bottom decking one of your own Analogmans is just ultra value. And you can, again, with combo wise, you can potentially pass your opponent's turn, especially like I mentioned, if you play alongside with the EX1 Machinedramon right here. Super powerful card as well. Instantly, if you just hard play it, you can shove 5 sources underneath. It does cost all the way up to 7, but gaining that memory back is always really nice. And you can set up a super strong body on board. Otherwise, in combination with the BT11 Machinedramon, if you get to play this guy for free, especially during your opponent's turn, you can gain so much memory back and even potentially pass your opponent's turn is really what this combo is all about. And yeah, still definitely a 2 of, at least in my own opinion. And then now we're moving into Chaosdramon right here, still from the EX3, a really good card by itself as well. You can digivolve it. Normally it's just on top of level 5. Otherwise, you can ideally digivolve it on top of a Machinedramon to sort of just pay 1 cost instead on play, or when digivolving, shoving 3 red or black level 5 cyborgs underneath him to de-digivolve 1 for each on your opponent's Digimon is always going to be great. Its all turns effects is even better with its protection than the EX1 Machinedramon because it prevents it from being returned to your hand or deck or even be deleted. So adding even more sources as you're building your stack once again is utmost priority and just super good with this card. And now we just only play 3 copies of because we want to give room to the brand new Chaosdramon X Antibody, and he does so much things. Again, he can digivolve on top straight from a level 5 for 5 costs, black or red. Otherwise, you want to be digivolving it for 2 on top of a Machinedramon or Chaosdramon. Now, first off, start with your main phase. You get to place 1 Digimon card with cyborg or machine its traits from your trash underneath this Digivolution cards of this Digimon. So as you're building your stack, you can constantly just add more and more and more. And this is how it tops it off to make it the ultimate indestructible machine, because as you're able to add more sources every single turn, your Chaosdramon X Antibody just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And if your opponent's not able to deal with it quick enough, it's basically game over for them, just like that. It has a all turns effects as well. This Digimon gains all the effects of Machinedramon and Chaosdramon underneath it as its Digivolution cards. So basically it has the protection as well. It can gain all the protection of Chaosdramon and Machinedramon and the DP reduction prevention from the Machinedramon as well, which is super good all the time. Is really what it's like building the ultimate machine that is unstoppable. Also, it has a third final effect where all turns once returned when this Digimon would be deleted, you simply just trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So again, if it's ever in threat, you can combo it very nicely with your protections with it to prevent it from being deleted, because the effect this says would be deleted. So you still get to trash your opponent's security alongside with this combination is exactly why this card is just super powerful, super strong. And I'll show you guys how it works with the combo segment later on as you're sort of building a stack, and it's just super straightforward too. That's it for all of our Digimon. Let's talk about our tamers. The only one and only tamer we really need, and the 4 copies of, like I always talked about, is the 4 copies of Analogman. You really want to see this as soon as possible. Hard playing this in the early stages of games is totally value as well, just because it lets you cycle. Every start of your main phase, you trash 1 level 5 cyborg Digimon from your hand to gain a memory and draw 1 card and continue cycling over and over again. The more you have, the even better, because you can do it multiple times. And with its opponent's turn to redirect by suspending this guy is just super crucial, and the ultimate defense that you want to be setting up with this tamer as well. And like I mentioned, having multiple copies of this guy means you can do it again and again and again, and it just makes it harder and harder for your opponents to basically overcome your indestructible machine that you're trying to build. That's it for our tamers. Let's talk about our options. Let's start with a brand new, really cool option right here, where we have 2 copies of Super Eradication Attack. It is for 2 costs, a black and red option Therefore, you need to meet the color requirements. However, while you have a level 6 Digimon with machine traits in its play, you get to use this option without meeting its color requirements. So meaning if you have Machinedramon, which is pure black, you can just straight up use this anyways without having that red source that you need. What it does is basically choose one of your Digimon with machine or cyborg in its traits, you delete that Digimon and one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to that Digimon's DP. Now, why is it so good? Because it's really about like deleting your own machine. You can use your protection to prevent its deletion, and then you still get to delete your opponent's Digimon. That's what it's all about, and it combos and synergizes super well with Chaosdramon X Antibody, meaning this is definitely his signature move and whatnot. It has a different security effect as well. By trashing one card with cyborg or machine traits from your hand, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with play cost less than or equal to the trash card's play cost itself. Basically exactly the same as the attack of heavy mobile Digimon right there. And of course, you know, this is the two of like that I like to run, and because like we mentioned, this is what attack of heavy mobile Digimon does, and the security effect is basically the same. However, as per usual, with the 0 cost with the attack of the heavy mobile Digimon, this lets you help you sneakily swing in games. Your opponents sometimes don't even expect it. I could even argue that playing a 3 of is ideal with this card as well. So it really comes down to your preference when it comes to the options on what you guys want to choose for with the ratios. But yeah, being able to trash one cyborg or machine in its traits, to have all your level 6 Digimon with machine in its traits to gain rush and on play blitz as well, basically helps you win games instantly just like that. And again, really powerful card that you want to be seeing as much as you can in the late game when you're trying to finish your opponents off. Last but not least, got 2 black memory boosts right here just for more consistency. Gaining memory, searching, grabbing cards that you need is always really great for the deck. And just another like sort of like alternative card that you can play other than a rookie sometimes. And yeah, just a very nice black staple for sure. Alright, that's it for our deck profile. Now let's just jump straight into our combos and sort of how to play this particular new Chaosdramon and Machinedramon deck. Honestly, it hasn't changed too much from BT11. Your goal is really just still the same. It's really just a top end combo that's just a little bit different, but I'll just go for it for the sake of it since it's very quick anyways. Of course, you're always hatching your egg. You want to be ideally digivolving your Dorumon underneath to sort of rack up your inheritables, and then you want to be digivolving into Numemon or Guardramon just for effective cost right here. Early stages in the game, if you see Hagurumon and a level 5 cyborg, you just really want to play it and just hard play it and then just discard it, trash it so you can draw 2 cards. It's just super crucial. Playing your Analogmans as soon as possible is also really important. Otherwise, of course, this is why you also have now the black memory boost, which I decided to add into play in the early stages of games to find pieces that you need. So you really just want to establish Analogman as soon as possible, and when you do, it's just absolutely great because every turn you just keep trashing a cyborg. Every single time, every beginning of your main phase, you just keep doing it again and again to give you constant value so you can gain memory and draw 1, and of course as you're building your stack. Now we'll digivolve into Guardramon right here, whatnot, and then eventually you want to digivolve it into any of your level 5s. It doesn't really matter what you have, but ideally, you know, don't go for the 4 cost ones unless you necessarily have to. The 4 cost digivolve ones are the ones that you normally need to trash unless you see a really good opening play in terms of like, you know, controlling like this Metal Greymon right here. But if not, anyways, you know, the ideal ones with the EX ones right here, but any will suffice really. You just really need to make sure you can digivolve it on top here, and that's all you can. Keep in mind, I just realized as well, this Metal Greymon right here is red specifically, so you can't digivolve it because it's a black stack. So this guy, you always want to be tossing it out instead anyways. So keep that in mind when you're sort of like building your stack. Black is really mainly the focus that you want to have. So once you're ready to push it out and do all that stuff, you can then simply again just digivolve into the BT11 Machinedramon to basically cycle for more pieces on the top. You know, you get to review and add something. You can add an Analogman if you have, add another one, add Machinedramon, or tuck something underneath right here. And by tucking something underneath, you get to gain a memory and draw 1 with the Doru and the Dorimon combo, just like as per usual. Now, there's 2 ways to sort of branch off of this afterwards. You really want to decide whether if you really want to keep this to stay on board. If you have access to this one, not too bad. You keep it on board. It doesn't have protection. If your opponent gets rid of it, you get to play your Machinedramon, or you can swing in aggressively. If it ever gets deleted, you can bottom deck your Analogman to play another one. But keep in mind, this is a very pivotal and important decision because you have to bottom deck your Analogman. Make sure you have multiple copies before doing that, because in this current format and the current stage of the game, you know, you don't really get a chance to play your tamers as much as you used to in the later games. In the later games, you really want to focus on building your stack and just going for big power plays and use your memory that way instead, and you don't really get the chance to play tamers as much as you can anymore, other than having it come out from security. So there's a risk to it. but just keep that in mind when you're doing so, because if you do bottom deck one of them, at least you have another one to sort of like protect yourself, and that's really the whole idea. If not, this is how I kind of like to play it as well. This is how you sort of build ultra value. Don't be afraid. Just Digivolve it into the Chaosdramon, and you can immediately just add another 3 sources underneath it the next turn or the same turn and whatnot. If you did it like the next turn, then you can gain another memory and draw another card with Dorimon and Dorumon combo, which is absolutely fantastic. And then you Digivolve and control the board right there, and instantly you just have like another stack. Now this is really cool. To show you guys the brand new combo, how you top it off with Chaosdramon X Antibody. You Digivolve it, and that's not all. Because once you Digivolve it, you gain all the when Digivolving effects of both of these guys. So you can resolve both of these to reveal top 5 again, and then slide something underneath, and even add the Machinedramon underneath, and then or tuck something underneath here, gain a memory again, draw 1, and you get to slide another 3 in right here to Digivolve, and this is what it's all about. Now you're really building the ultimate stack, because you get to put so many inheritables and it gains so much protection. It's almost impossible for your opponents to basically overcome this. The stack is so big that it's just going out of the screen at the moment even as well. And that's not all, because at the start of your main phase, every single turn, you get to add more and more from your trash underneath again and again and again. If your opponent's not going to deal with it, you are basically essentially just going to win the game like that. Now, the other really cool thing is this Chaosdramon does have this Machinedramon's effect, which is why it's not too bad to Digivolve on top of it, because when it does get deleted by the odd chance or whatever, let's just say, oh, it gets rid of a whole stack somehow, and you will get to use your Machinedramon from BT11 to put the Analogman back to the bottom to basically hard play this, which is super nice. But going back to the big stack combo that you have right here, always don't forget, if your opponent tries to attempt to delete it, you can trash 2 sources to prevent the deletion, but also because of its all turns effects of once per turn, you get to trash your opponent's security as well. And that is exactly where Super Eradication attack comes in super handy. By playing this for 2 costs, you basically attempt to delete your own Chaosdramon, and then to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP lower than it. So you can at least delete something that's 13k. If you have more DP, then you get to delete something even bigger, which is fantastic. And that's why racking up DP power is kind of nice as well. And sometimes it's something that you want to prioritize when you're building your stack. And then of course, that's why you want to use its protection effect by taking 2 sources out from underneath it to prevent it from being deleted, and also you still get to trash your opponent's security with the usage of Super Eradication attack, because it would be deleted either way. And you just continue to sort of chip away your opponents down bit by bit, control the board like there, and you trash all their security bit by bit there like that, and you can swing in attacks and stuff, and then you could just eventually finish the game just like that. And if you ever need to, this is when you would also then play the attack of Heavy Mobile Digimon to just swiftly go for the blitz and rush right there to finish the game just like that. And this is how you want to be playing this all new, super cool, indestructible, ultimate defense Chaosdramon X Antibody Deck. That will wrap up for the deck profile for today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. We got lots more Digimon videos and content coming with BT12 deck profiles, so be sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. If you guys just can't wait, I want to see early deck lists and first drafts made by me, then definitely join the Avault Club right now as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is Avault, signing out.